Hi everyone, happy Saturday. So I have a slight confession. I actually went on the private fitness barn group, so I've recorded this once, but I did actually well up, so hopefully I can do this one and not well up. I did well up about my client, not that I'm just generally going to cry on online. Right, anyway, so what I was going to talk about was obviously one of my clients' progress that she's had with me for the last 3 months. And I won't be mentioning her name. She's asked to be anonymous. And if you do recognise her when I put her pictures up, then please don't be tempted to say well done name. If you could just obviously give her some praise, but that would be great. So before I go into that, I just want to generally say how it's really important as a coach that you understand your client's goals and not your interpretation of what they might want or what your goals are through your experience. And I do see that a lot with competitors, people that have coaches that have done shoots, and especially with women. I think you can't assume that everyone wants that goal, that they want a six-pack, that they, hey Shirley, that they want to look like that, because actually a lot of people don't. They just want to feel better in themselves. They want to look better. They want to run around with the kids. They just want to understand what works for them. So I think that's really important. And I think social media glamorizes the 9-week, 10-week, 12-week prep. And I think, yes, it has its place, but not everyone is at that starting point where they can do a 9 to a 12-week prep. And also mentally, people, you know, it takes a lot of strength into a prep and out of a prep to do, you know, that sort of intense prep to get to those sort of body fat levels. So I think, but people, you know, day to day have focus that, oh my God, in 12 weeks, I need to get like that. Or if I'm not looking like that, it's not worked. And that is not the case. You know, really dependent on the individual, you know, anything from a 6-month to a 12-month time period, and again, that's very dependent, is realistic for a transformation, whether that's weight loss, fat loss, whether that's, you know, putting on muscle. And I think when people start to realise that, I think they stick to it a lot more because it's a lot more gradual. It's a slower process, but being a slower process, mentally, it makes you enjoy the journey more. And, you know, it's not something that you just hate doing because you've got to go extreme if you go in really at those sort of time frames. So I think it's about that, and it's working with the right person and the right fit for you to really understand your goals. So the client that I wanted to talk about, and I will try not to mention her name and I will try not to cry. I have known her for a long time, but she did the Busy Working Mums with me in June, and she did amazingly. And for her, it was obviously, you know, she wanted to reduce her body fat. She wanted to feel better. She's not in the UK anymore. So, you know, there were quite a lot of things that really, I guess, made her comfort eat what she probably shouldn't be eating, and she just wasn't feeling great in herself. So I think the Busy Working Mum, which it does, gave her a kickstart really to think, wow, what's possible in 28 days. And so she stayed with me, and we've just finished this week 3 months, and she's probably going to be doing a few more months with me, so we can really make sure that the habits she's learned now, you know, she can have the confidence to just make this a lifestyle change, which she already has. And I think with her, there was a lot of metabolic issues, I think, that we had to look over. And I think, again, people are sometimes not realistic of what they want to achieve in what time frame, and they forget the years of overeating, alcohol, binging, yo-yo dieting, lack of exercise. You know, all that takes time and a toll on the body, and you can't then expect you to reverse it in the matter of a few months. And also, everyone is so unique, and what works for one is not going to work for the other. And so you know, a lot of it is finding out what works for that person. And that's why, you know, when you're working with someone, it does take time, and you have to both be patient with that journey. And as long as they're doing what you're asking, and, you know, you're confident in that person, then you will, you know, you will find it 100%. You will find what works for that person. You know, people's tolerances to the amount of calories is different, to the macros is different, and obviously I think when they find that, it's like that euphoria moment, and we've got to that point, and it's taken some time. You know, there's been weeks where she's not seen changes on the scale, which is norm for a lot of clients, but they get fixated on that number. And really, unless you're doing probably a prep or something that you really need the scale weight for data, for me, and especially for women, photos, how your clothes fit are the best way to do it. So when I showed her pictures the other day, we were both blown away with the difference, because again, when you're in it week on, week out, sometimes you forget. And I think sometimes with clients, I like to do that, and I like to show them the side by sides. So she's lost so far 17 pounds. She's lost 22 centimeters off her waist, and you know, when you see the pictures, you'll see such a difference in really such a short space of time. So she's got it in her head that this is a 12-month transformation, which is so commendable, because she knows that she's going to enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. She's a vegetarian, which does make it trickier. It's not as easy to get your protein sources, and sometimes a lot of the vegetarian foods, there's added, you know, additional macros in there, so it makes it harder. So we've had to be really aware of looking at, you know, what suits her, but still allowing her the flexibility with her husband to make it part of their lifestyle. She's had holidays while we've been doing this together, and I embrace, you know, the fact that you've got holidays, because people, you know, will always have holidays. People will always have hurdles that are thrown in their way, and it's how you react to them. You know, if you're one of these that says, I'm going on a holiday, so I'm just going to have a total binge, and then I'm just going to start when I get back, you know, your mindset is never going to be there, because you're going to be like that for any hurdle that comes in your way. So, you know, we prepared her. I said, don't worry about it. Go and have a holiday. Enjoy your holiday. At the end of the day, you know, things like that are why you work hard, but be mindful of what you're eating and get your exercise in. So she drank her water. She knew she wouldn't be able to eat the food she did, but she knew what the right choices were. Sometimes if she was a bit, you know, do I have this or that, she'd message me, and we'd, you know, I'd give her some guidance. She walked a lot, and yeah, and mentally it refreshed her. So actually, from a motivational point of view, it was really good for her. So, you know, she coped with those sort of curveballs really well, and you will all have those curveballs. So, you know, nothing's going to be linear, and you can't just expect that, right, I'm going to get all organised and then nothing's going to interrupt me. And especially as a mum, and, you know, if you're really busy working, your days are never really the same. So you have to work around what's right for you. And that's why the individual is so key, because everyone is so different, and what makes somebody tick is not going to make somebody else tick. So really, we've settled into frequency of meals, what's right for her. She has quite a lot of flexibility, and I'm a big fan of flexibility with food, especially again for women. But my clients still know that within that flexibility, you've got to kind of 80% make the right choices, because you still need to be choosing foods that are going to allow you to train right, or go for that walk, or run around with your kids, or just look after your organs internally. So, but the other 20%, actually, you know, have that bit of chocolate. And yes, it doesn't always have to be dark, but you've built it in. But you come to realise that actually, you know, you sacrifice quite a lot of calories and everything for something that actually you could get satisfaction in something else. And, you know, I know that she's obsessed with rice cakes, peanut butter and some banana. And actually sometimes she'd take that over a bit of chocolate. Probably not all the time. but yeah, so she's you know, mentally made that shift. And I think if you're going into something, your mental mindset needs to mirror the physical side, because if one isn't in line with the other, when you get either fed up with it or tired, or, you know, we'll all have those moments, it's that person who can pull themselves around, step back, realize why they're doing it, why they signed up in the first place, why it's important to them, to actually think, okay, I'm feeling like this because of this, or I've eaten that because of that, now I'm going to get right back on it. And that is, the person that does that is the person that will succeed over the person that just sabotages the whole thing. And she has absolutely made that shift in her mind, and I've seen that. And she's done all that I've asked her to do, which is why she's in the position that she's in. So what else did I want to say to you? Yeah, vision board. So vision board is really important, because mentally, when you start something, or you have this idea of your goals, what you want to look like, how far you've come, they're all stored in your head. And unless you know, and then your day-to-day life, work, whatever takes over, and that fills your head, and actually all of what you were thinking of just gets put to the back somewhere. So I like people, if they're visual people, to write down on a board, or put a picture or something that inspires them or reminds them why they started something or where they want to get to. Because sometimes just visually looking at something really quick ignites all those thoughts back, and that feeling, that butterfly, that fire in your belly, that motivation to go, oh yeah, that's why I started it. So, and she did that. And, you know, I remember her saying to me, I just want to wear a pair of shorts. I wore a pair of shorts for so long because I don't like my legs. And she messaged me, or we spoke on one of her holidays, and she was like, sod it, I'm in a pair of shorts. And, you know, forget the physical side, her confidence, just doing that. And I think absolutely hats off to her for doing that. And it, you know, her confidence has changed already, and that will continue to grow. And yeah, it was brilliant to see. And I think, you know, enjoying the journey is just as important as that end result, because if you don't enjoy the journey, then it's going to be a hard slog. And you'll find a lot of people, you know, if they're doing these really short preps, they don't enjoy the journey. If I'm honest, I probably enjoyed one prep and the rest felt like such a slog. And actually now I have the perfect balance of, yes, I know I can get super lean if I want to. Do I want to? Absolutely not. It didn't do anything for my mental health. It didn't do anything for my relationship with food. It didn't do anything for, you know, missing out a lot with my family and friends. And, you know, and for what really? Yes, I can get in great shape, but now I have the best of both worlds. I have, you know, that flexibility. I train hard. And I eat 80% of the time really well. Yes, I have my moments, as we all do, but it's my ability, then I can really snap myself back out, and I know what works for me. I don't need to go and try loads of things, because over the years I just know what suits my body. So it's getting to that stage with a lot of people that is really key. And I think social media has so much information. You know, there's so many people out there who do obviously amazingly, look amazing, but are they relatable to you? You know, it's very easy sometimes, if you haven't got kids, or if you are really just able to look after yourself, you know, transformation challenges, bodybuilding, and I can say that is a super selfish sport, because it's not like another sports person where, yes, you have to eat right and you train hard. You know, being in the bodybuilding world, you have to live, breathe everything 24/7 that. And that is absolutely great if you want to achieve that. But I've done it, and I, hand on heart, would never want to do it again. But I get much more joy out of seeing, and I didn't cry this time, people's transformations than I ever did really probably stepping on stage. So that was it really. So I want to conclude by just saying, stop yo-yoing, stop, we always say, can you put a price on your health and fitness? And it's not just about physical, but without you looking after yourself internally, which comes out on the external side, you can't go and do that job. You can't then just go and run around and take so much for granted until you've not got it. And I think people and ah so much about investing in a coach or buying the right food when, they wouldn't think twice about spending £100 on a night out, probably more, doing your hair, doing your nails, buying a gadget. It wouldn't even cross their mind. Yet when it comes to investing with their own, body that you get one of, that actually, is just so important, even not just for you, but for your family. I think it's an interesting mindset, and some people are so there with it. And some people, will continue to do that yo-yo and actually inadvertently spend a hell of a lot more by doing that than if they not settled, but if they found someone that really worked for them. And I think my biggest bit of advice would be to find someone that you can work with. And I think that's why, I know when Paul does the busy working dads and I do the busy working mums, that snippet of 4 weeks of working with people allows you to see, can you work with them? Will they give you what they need to give you to get the results? And can they work with you? And do you fit personality wise? Because you're going to have some tough conversations along the way that they won't like. And also for their goals, I wouldn't be an expert in some people's goals, and I would say, no, you're better with somebody else. So it's being open and honest in that way, because you are together and you've got to be honest with each other, and it is a bit of a relationship, on that side, because you're both investing in each other to get that end outcome. So that's it. I've waffled for long enough, even though I had loads of notes. I think I've covered everything. But yeah, so I will post her pics. I am very, very proud. She's done amazing. She's absolutely trusted the process. She's found it tough at times, more mentally, because I think when you put in the work, sometimes you don't see the results and you can get really, downhearted. And that's where the personal development really comes in, and the motivation, understanding why something might not have worked, but having somebody to have that conversation with. If you're doing it on your own, depending on what your goals are, that can be quite tough. So have a great weekend, and I will catch up later. Bye.